ex-US Air Force colonel and Boeing engineer, explains what really happened during Apollo 13. This by Arjun Walia on Collective Evolution Alternative News, and this we have to listen to because he knows. Now, in brief, the facts are Colonel Ross Dedrickson, a highly ranking military man who spent a long service with the Energy Commission between 1950 and 58, claims that the problem with Apollo 13 were handled with care by extraterrestrials. And let's reflect on this. UFOs are no longer taboo, and with their existence has been verified via documents, photographs, and videos released by dozens of governments. To complement this, we have witness testimony, and the common theme is that many craft are extraterrestrial. We've seen the video, I'll make another video on that, concerning the Navy videos of UFOs that enter and go into the water, into the sea and into the oceans. They come out from undersea bases, underwater bases, and immediately fly out into hyper speeds, unimaginable speeds into space, into our atmosphere and out at the blink of an eye. I mean, it's unbelievable. So, they have videos of that. What is that? Obviously, there are beings here that have advanced technology that we have no knowledge of. Now, going back to this, now that mainstream UFO disclosure has taken place and more information continues to be brought to light, more and more people are opening up to the idea that some of these UFOs, which are tracked on radar even, and photographed and videotaped, are extraterrestrial in origin. Well, they may be human, advanced humans that we are not in knowledge of, that actually take trips outside of our atmosphere, or close to our atmosphere, just outside. Well, anyway, we'll go into that. Let's not go off on a tangent on this. Let's read the article. This belief comes as a result from multiple factors, one being credible witness testimony by hundreds of military personnel from all ranks for decades, as well as other researchers, academics, ex-intelligence agency personnel, astronauts, etc. These testimonies complement the hard evidence that's already been collected. The UFO problem has been subject to the questions of who, what, why, where, and when. The only problem is those questions have been asked and answered by those who work with black budget special access programs. Programs that are so sensitive that they're exempt from standard reporting requirements from Congress, as described in this document. And again, there's a link under the blue line if you want to see the document. For the latest updates in mainstream UFO, you can refer to this article, again the link there, which discusses materials that have been collected from these objects, among other things, and for the latest updates regarding mainstream UFO disclosure. So, have we been lied to for decades? Well, the answer is obviously yes. Former NASA astronaut and Princeton physics professor Dr. Brian O'Leary, who was recruited by Carl Sagan, by the way, to teach at Cornell University, have accused Sagan on being involved with covering up this information. He even accused Sagan of fudging evidence regarding the face on Mars, and you can see what he said and read more about that in depth here. The very first director of the Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, Roscoe H. Hillenkotter, German of course, told the world that there has been an artificial campaign of ridicule and secrecy to cover up the fact that UFOs are real and that some of them are indeed extraterrestrial. He did so on the New York Times to the New York Times in 1960. With the recent admittance of the existence of UFOs by multiple countries, led by to the Stars Academy in the U.S., another factor having some believing that they are extraterrestrial, including Luis Elizondo, who used to be a director of one of the UFO study programs with the Pentagon, is the fact that the objects are observed performing maneuvers that defy our laws of physics and aerodynamics. Well, look, don't be impressed by that. I'm sure that humans, will be able to, they may have such advanced technology, and the rest of us are not, the oi polloi are not privy to that. For example, if you go into the internet and see, for example, the 5th generation Sukhoi Russian hypersonic fighting jets, you will be amazed. They seem to be as light as a feather. I'm not advertising them, it's just that I saw it. They seem to be as light as a feather, and they can do maneuvers that planes, you would never believe planes could do. And they can go off to the ground vertically 20 centimeters. I mean, that's a hand, the length from your wrist to your fingers. That's how far they're off the ground without crashing. And they're like a feather dancing in the air. That's what they look like, and they're so fast, and they're dancing with each other. It was like like they're dancing the polka, you know? And that's how fast they're going fast, and they're out just off the ground, vertical, not horizontal. And you're saying that's not possible. Well, it is. It is, you know, and I'm sure they have a lot of things that we don't even know about. And if we were to be told that exist, we wouldn't believe. So yeah, there are humans, I believe, that do have the knowledge of having some really, really advanced technology that we don't know about. But anyway, let's go back to this. Maneuvers that defy our laws of physics and aerodynamics anyway. So far, apart from that statement given on CNN, he was emphasizing how their group is purposely steering away from the extraterrestrial question for now and simply focusing on the objects because there are a lot of feelings that come up when discussing this topic. He says, I will tell you unequivocally that through the observations, scientific methodologies that were applied to look at this, that these aircraft are displaying characteristics that are not currently within the U.S. inventory, nor in any foreign inventory as far as they know. My personal belief is that there is very compelling evidence that we may not be alone, whatever that means. Unfortunately, there's always been, seems to be a threat narrative from the mainstream. The secrecy is on this subject, as you can imagine, runs very deep. Everything is compartmentalized, and everybody who has experienced or been a part of these programs is aware of it. Sure, we are seeing mainstream disclosure, but this topic leaves no aspect of humanity untouched. If there is a secret space program, if governments have cataloged multiple species of beings, if there is new technology and new propulsion systems, and there is, that utilize the wheelwork of nature, and telling you about this, then how does one expect those who control the secrecy around the subject to simply disclose it? They won't, because they don't want their enemies to know that they have it. Anyway, we should have had mass transparency from the very beginning, but this world of secrecy has developed so much that it's nearly impossible to get the entire truth out about multiple things within this subject. Technology, extraterrestrial intelligence, and all of the questions you can think of have been the subject of inquiry for years, and we've been left completely in the dark. Disclosure will lead to corporate collapses like the oil industry. It would lead to lawsuits from various private military contractors. The list is huge, and the implications of disclosure are just the same. The largest benefit could most possibly be the impact on human consciousness and our awareness of metaphysical realms, non-metaphysical realms, non-material science would no doubt get a big boost. Whether this was done to protect corporate government interests or simply because it was too big for human mind to comprehend and accept is up in the air, but it seems to be a good mix of both of these things. Now, Apollo 13, let's come to that. That's what we're interested in. When it comes to astronauts, it's amusing how a select few receive media attention, and it's usually the ones that attempt to debunk the UFO extraterrestrial phenomenon. On the other hand, we have a plethora of astronauts, perhaps even more than 50% of them in the United States, who have told the world that they know for a fact that UFOs are real, and that some of them are piloted by beings from somewhere else in the universe. Why is it that these astronauts don't receive much attention? Why are their words not taken as credible, and why are astronauts who debunk these claims instantaneously believed? Definitely strange, to say the least. In the video below, however, it's not from an astronaut, but a testimony from Colonel Ross Dedrickson, and his testimony, as well as obituary, states he was assigned to the U.S. Atomic Energy Commission. A long service with the Energy Commission between 1950 to 58 included contract administration duties at Nevada test sites, Pacific Nuclear Test Area west of Hawaii, nuclear weapon manufacturing and quality assurance in Albuquerque, and inspection of nuclear and non-nuclear facilities throughout the country. He served with the 5th Air Force in Japan, later as a ranking colonel, officer in charge of the Pacific Unified Command, TM's alternate command and control center in Hawaii, and in 1962 he was transferred to served as deputy for material for the 832nd Air Division at Cannon Air Force Base, Clovis, New Mexico. He retired from the U.S. Air Force in 1964. Did we go to the moon? We've written a number of articles explaining why we feel that yes, we did, but the official story we're told about the moon does not really add up. Sources for these claims come from within the industry as well, from military personnel to former NASA employees, intelligence officers, etc. Colonel Dedrickson is a great example. Made popular by Hollywood, Apollo 13 became known as the journey to the moon that experienced technical difficulties, making it difficult and near impossible for the craft to return home, according to Dedrickson. He said, a spacecraft went to the rescue of Apollo 13, and they accompanied Apollo 13 on their voyage around the moon back to Earth. And on 2 occasions they thought that they might have to transfer the crew to their spacecraft, but they saw them safely back to Earth. End quote. He gave a lot more information in the interview below, so take it from it if you will. I published an article prior to this one, but his statements claiming extraterrestrial would not allow the detonation of nuclear weapons on the moon. For our own scientific measurements, those comments are also from this interview. So what's the conclusion? The takeaway message is that we are not alone and that this topic is moving outside of the debatable realm every single year. The implications of ET disclosure are huge. It really changes everything and brings up a lot of questions. Our civilization should be working in complete transparency, and secrecy is only for those with selfish interests to protect. But the world is a mess, and this is and may have to be a process over many years. The metaphysical and spiritual implications, among others like technological, are what awaits us if we can make the correct changes within and become a more peaceful people. And this is on collective evolution, and I'll leave a link below for you for this. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.